For 3 years, Michael Sterling kept his wife hidden. No company events, no dinner parties, no photographs together. Until the night she walked into his firm's annual gala uninvited, transformed into a vision that stopped every conversation. And he realized the world was seeing what he'd been too ashamed to show. A woman so extraordinary that his fear of judgment had cost him everything. "I'll be home late. Don't wait up." Michael delivered the line without looking at me, already halfway out the door of our penthouse apartment. The same line he'd used every Friday for 3 years. The same dismissal dressed up as consideration. "The gala is tonight," I said quietly, still in my bathrobe at 4 p.m., not bothering to get dressed because what was the point? He froze, hand on the doorknob. "Simone, we've discussed this." "We haven't discussed anything. You've decided. There's a difference. It's a work event. Boring. You wouldn't enjoy it." "You mean you wouldn't enjoy having me there?" The silence that followed confirmed what I already knew. My husband, wealthy, successful, respected Michael Sterling, was ashamed of me. Not because I wasn't educated. I had a master's in architecture from Yale. Not because I wasn't successful. I ran my own design firm. Not because I wasn't beautiful. I'd been told my whole life that I was stunning. But because I was black. Dark-skinned, natural-haired, unapologetically black. And Michael Sterling, with his old money family and corporate ambitions, had decided that I didn't fit the image of a partner he wanted to display. "This isn't about you," he said, which was the lie he always told. "I just prefer to keep work and personal life separate. Except your colleagues' wives attend every event. I've seen the photos on the company website. White wives, Asian wives, even your black colleagues bring their partners. Just not you." "Simone." "It's fine, Michael. Go to your gala. Network with people who matter. I'll be here, where I always am. Hidden." He left without another word. I stood in our marble foyer, in the penthouse apartment he'd insisted we buy because it had a separate entrance from the building's main lobby. More privacy, he'd said. I'd been too in love to see it for what it was, a way to keep me invisible. 3 years of marriage. 3 years of excuses. "Let's have a quiet dinner at home instead of that restaurant. It's too loud anyway. My parents can't make lunch this weekend. Maybe next time." "The charity auction? You'd be bored. I'll go alone." Every event, every gathering, every moment that might require him to introduce me as his wife. He found a reason why I shouldn't attend. I believed him at first. Believed I was being thoughtful by not pushing. Believed our private life was enough. But private life becomes isolation when you realize you're the only secret being kept. I walked to our bedroom, the one space in this cold apartment I'd been allowed to make mine. My design portfolio sat on the desk, featuring projects I'd completed before the wedding. Before I'd slowly let my business fade because Michael suggested I take a break from work. "You don't need to work so hard," he'd said. "Enjoy being taken care of." What he meant: stay home. Stay hidden. Don't build anything that might make you visible. I picked up my phone and called the one person who'd been telling me the truth for years. "He left you alone again?" My best friend Jasmine didn't even wait for hello. "The gala. He said it's boring." "Simone, baby, when are you going to stop letting that man make you invisible?" "I love him, Jazz. I keep thinking that he'll change, that one day he'll wake up and be proud to have you on his arm." "Girl," she sighed, "you're the prize. If he can't see that, that's his failure, not yours. But maybe if you what? Lose weight. You're already a size 4. Straighten your hair? You already tried that, and he still didn't take you anywhere. Lighten your skin? You gonna start bleaching?" "Jazz." "No, seriously. What would it take for Michael Sterling to be proud of his black wife? Because from where I'm sitting, there's nothing wrong with you. The problem is him, and the racist family that raised him, and the racist corporate world he's trying to fit into, and his cowardice for choosing that world over you." I was crying now, hot tears of shame and anger and grief for the woman I'd been before I'd started shrinking myself to fit into Michael's hidden spaces. "I don't know what to do." "You know exactly what to do. You're just scared to do it." Jazz's voice softened. "Come to my place. Get dressed. And go to that gala. I can't just show up." "Why not? You're his wife. You have every right to attend your husband's company event. The question is, do you have the courage?" Did I? I spent 2 hours at Jasmine's apartment, transforming. Not into someone I wasn't. Into someone I'd forgotten I was. I unwrapped my hair from the conservative bun I'd been wearing for years, the style Michael preferred, and let my natural curls free, big and bold, and unapologetic. Jasmine helped me style them into an elegant updo that showcased my face instead of hiding it. I put on the dress I'd bought for our first anniversary, the one Michael had asked me not to wear because it was too much. A deep emerald silk gown that hugged my curves, with a back that dipped low, elegant and sophisticated and impossible to ignore. I wore the jewelry my grandmother had left me, gold pieces from Ghana that I'd packed away when Michael suggested my style should be more understated. I painted my lips red, not the nude Michael preferred. Red, bold, defiant. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see the woman who'd been hiding in a penthouse for 3 years. I saw Simone Clark, the woman Michael had fallen in love with before he'd decided she was too much. Now that, Jasmine said, is a woman walking into that gala. I might throw up. You might, but you're still going. The gala was at the plaza, because of course it was. Old money and new money mixing in ballrooms that cost more to rent than most people made in a year. I arrived alone, heart pounding, second-guessing every choice. The doorman didn't question me. My dress, my bearing, my confidence, earned from years of being excellent before I'd let someone convince me to be small, got me through the door. The ballroom was exactly what I'd expected. Crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, people in designer everything, talking about money and deals and all the things that mattered to people like Michael. I spotted him immediately. He stood in a circle with colleagues, laughing at something someone said, looking comfortable and confident in his element. A world I'd been excluded from. Beside him stood a woman, white, blonde, in a conservative black dress. She was laughing too, her hand on his arm, comfortable in a way I'd never been allowed to be in his professional life. Was this why? Had there been someone else all along? Someone appropriate? Someone he wasn't ashamed of? The thought steadied me, because if he'd been cheating, I'd been right to come. And if he hadn't, if he'd just been hiding me because I didn't fit his image, then I'd been right to come. Either way, hiding was over. I took a champagne glass from a passing waiter and walked into the ballroom like I owned it. The reaction was immediate. Heads turned. Conversations paused. People noticed, not because I was out of place, but because I refused to act like I was. I walked with the confidence of a woman who designed buildings that would outlast everyone in this room, who'd earned every degree, every success, every moment of pride before she'd been convinced to diminish herself. An older black man approached me, curiosity in his expression. I don't believe we've met. James Morrison, CFO. Simone Sterling. I watched his eyebrows rise. Michael Sterling's wife. Michael's wife. He couldn't hide his shock. I had no idea Michael was married. Neither did most people, apparently. James studied me with new interest. That's surprising. Michael talks about everything except, well, it's lovely to meet you, Mrs. Sterling. Your husband's kept you quite the secret, hasn't he? A crowd was forming now. People curious about the beautiful woman they'd never seen before, the wife Michael Sterling had apparently been hiding. Mrs. Sterling, a woman approached. I'm Catherine Chun. I've admired your work with sustainable architecture. The community center you designed in Brooklyn was featured in Architectural Digest. You follow architecture? My daughter's studying it at Cornell. She wrote her entrance essay about your designs. Catherine smiled. I can't believe Michael never mentioned his wife was the Simone Clark. We would have loved to have you speak at our diversity initiatives. Michael prefers to keep work and personal life separate, I said, the excuse tasting bitter even as I repeated it. Does he? Catherine's expression suggested she understood more than I'd said. How convenient for him. More people joined our circle. More recognition of my work. More surprise that Michael had never mentioned his accomplished, beautiful, talented wife. And across the room, I saw Michael's face. He'd seen me. Finally seen me. And the expression on his face wasn't pride or love or joy at my presence. It was fear. Michael hid his black wife for 3 years while attending events with colleagues and their partners. Simone finally showed up uninvited. Was she right to do this? Or should she have confronted him privately? What would you do if your spouse was hiding you? Drop your honest thoughts below. Michael crossed the ballroom in 10 seconds flat, the blonde woman trailing behind him looking confused. Simone. He grabbed my arm, not gently. What are you doing here? Attending my husband's company gala. Isn't that what wives do? We need to talk. Privately. Why? Ashamed to have this conversation in front of your colleagues. His grip tightened. Don't make a scene. I'm not making a scene. I'm existing. Apparently, that's the same thing to you. The circle around us had grown larger, people sensing drama, phones probably out, social media posts probably already being written. Michael, James Morrison interrupted smoothly. You never mentioned your wife was the Simone Clark. We've been trying to recruit her firm for the new headquarters design. Perhaps we should discuss this opportunity? Michael's face was red now, caught between professional necessity and personal discomfort. That's not. We haven't. I'd be interested in hearing more, I said, meeting James's eyes. My firm specializes in sustainable corporate design. I'd love to submit a proposal. Your firm? Michael's voice was tight. You closed your firm. No, Michael. You asked me to close my firm. I never actually did. I just stopped talking about it because it made you uncomfortable. Simone. Mr. Morrison, I continued, ignoring my husband. I'd be happy to schedule a meeting. My partner and I have some innovative concepts that might interest you. Partner. Michael looked like I'd slapped him. What partner? The business partner I've been working with for the past year. While you've been attending galas without me. I smiled sweetly. Didn't I mention? I've been working, building, creating. Just not here. Not where you'd have to acknowledge it. The blonde woman finally spoke. Michael, who is this? I'm his wife, I said, extending my hand. And you are? Rebecca Hartwell. From marketing. She looked between us, understanding dawning. Oh my God. I had no idea Michael was married. He never. At the Christmas party, he said he was single. I finished. Yes, I imagine he did. Easier than explaining why his wife isn't welcome at company events. That's not what happened, Michael said quickly, too quickly. Rebecca, it's not. Save it. Rebecca stepped back, looking at me with something like respect. Mrs. Sterling, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. He told everyone he was divorced. The word hung in the air like a bomb. Divorced. Not married. Not, my wife prefers privacy. Not, keeping work and personal separate. Divorced. As in, I don't have a wife. As in, I'm available. As in, the woman at home doesn't exist. Divorced. I repeated, my voice dangerous and quiet. That's what you told people. Simone, let me explain. You told your colleagues you were divorced. While I sat at home like a good little secret, you told people I didn't exist. Not that I was private. Not that I preferred to stay home. That I didn't exist. It was easier then. Then what? Then admitting you're married to a black woman? Then explaining why you're ashamed of your wife? Then dealing with your racist family and colleagues and the discomfort of having a dark-skinned woman on your arm? The ballroom had gone completely silent. Everyone watching. Everyone recording. Everyone finally seeing what I'd known for 3 years. Michael Sterling was ashamed of his black wife. You're making this bigger than it is. Am I? Because from where I'm standing, you've spent 3 years hiding me. 3 years making excuses. 3 years asking me to be smaller, quieter, less visible. 3 years erasing me from your life, while keeping me trapped in our apartment like a dirty secret. I never said you were a secret. You didn't have to say it. You showed it. Every time you went to events alone. Every time you forgot to mention you had a wife. Every time you asked me not to wear certain clothes or style my hair certain ways because it was too much. My voice broke. Every time you made me feel like loving me was something you had to hide. Michael's face was white now, the attention of the entire ballroom on us, his carefully constructed image crumbling. Everyone, I addressed the room. I'm Simone Sterling. The wife Michael didn't want you to know about. The successful architect he asked to close her business. The woman he's been keeping hidden because apparently, I don't fit the image of a Sterling wife. I turned back to him. Did I get that right, Michael? Or would you like to explain it differently? You're being irrational. I'm being visible. Finally, after 3 years of being invisible, of not attending company events, of having no friends come to our apartment because you said you valued privacy, of not meeting your family because the timing was never right, of becoming a ghost in my own marriage because my husband was too embarrassed to admit he'd married a black woman. That's not. Then what is it, Michael? Explain to everyone here why your beautiful, successful, accomplished wife has never attended a single company event in 3 years. Why you told colleagues you were divorced. Why I'm standing here, uninvited, making you uncomfortable just by existing in your professional space. He couldn't answer, because there was no answer that didn't reveal the truth. James Morrison stepped forward, his expression unreadable. Michael, is this true? You've been representing yourself as divorced. It's complicated. It's not complicated at all, I said. It's simple. Your colleague is ashamed of his black wife. So ashamed that he erased me from his life rather than deal with whatever judgment he thought would come from having me on his arm. Mrs. Sterling, James said carefully, I think you should know. Our company has very strict policies about workplace integrity and representation. Lying about marital status, especially to maintain appearances. He looked at Michael with disappointment. That's a serious issue. I wasn't lying. You told people you were divorced, Rebecca said, finding her voice. You let me think. At the Christmas party she stopped, looking horrified. Oh my God, you flirted with me. Multiple times. And you have a wife at home. It wasn't, I didn't. You did. Rebecca turned to me. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. He told everyone he was going through a difficult divorce. He made it sound like. She stopped. I feel sick. Don't apologize, I said. You were lied to. We both were. The difference is, I'm the one he married and then decided wasn't worth showing off. The confrontation could have ended there. Should have ended there, with Michael exposed and humiliated, his lies public, his shame on display. But then his mother arrived. Catherine Sterling swept into the ballroom like she owned it. Old money confidence, dripping in diamonds, looking for her son. Michael, darling, there you are? I've been looking. She stopped when she saw me. Her face went through several expressions in quick succession. Confusion, recognition, disgust. You, she said, the word laced with venom. What are you doing here? Hello, Catherine. I'd met her twice, both times at our apartment, both times ending with her making it clear I was unacceptable. I'm attending my husband's company event. This is a professional gathering, not appropriate for. She waved her hand vaguely at me. Your type. The ballroom, which had started to resume conversation, went silent again. My type. I repeated. Please. Elaborate. What type am I exactly? Catherine's face flushed. You know exactly what I mean. This is a corporate event. Michael's career is important. Having you here, it sends the wrong message. What message would that be? That he's not serious. That he doesn't understand professional boundaries. That he... She stopped, aware of the audience. That he married a black woman and should be ashamed of it. I finished. Go ahead, Catherine. Say what you mean. Tell everyone why you've spent 3 years trying to convince your son to divorce me. Michael grabbed my arm again. Simone, stop. I shook him off. No. I've been stopping for 3 years. Stopping myself from speaking. From existing. From being visible. I'm done stopping. Catherine's mouth was a thin line. You're making a scene. This is exactly why Michael was right to keep you away. You don't understand how to conduct yourself in civilized company. Civilized company? I laughed, hard and bitter. Catherine, I have degrees from Yale. I run a successful firm. I've been published in major architectural journals. I've won design awards. The only thing I don't have is the right skin color for your vision of what Michael's wife should look like. That's not. It absolutely is. You told Michael on our wedding day that I wasn't good enough. That the Sterling family had a reputation to maintain. That marrying me would limit his opportunities. I looked around the room. And apparently, he believed you. So much that he spent 3 years hiding me. Lying about me. Pretending I didn't exist so he could maintain his image as an eligible bachelor from the right family with the right connections. Michael, Catherine turned to her son, you need to remove her. Now, this is damaging your reputation. His reputation? James Morrison stepped forward again. Mrs. Sterling, the elder one, I think you're confused about whose reputation is being damaged here. Your son has been lying to his colleagues about his marital status. He's been conducting himself as a single man while his wife sat at home, isolated and hidden. That's not a reputation concern for her. That's a reputation concern for him. And frankly, for this company. Catherine looked shocked that someone was challenging her. And who are you? James Morrison, CFO. And the person who's going to be recommending we investigate whether Michael's behavior violates our ethics policies. He looked at Michael. We'll be having a meeting first thing Monday morning. James, I can explain. I'm sure you'll try. James turned to me. Mrs. Sterling, the younger one, I apologize on behalf of Sterling and Associates. Your treatment has been unconscionable, and I'd still like to discuss that design proposal, if you're interested. I am, I said. Though I imagine working with a company that employs my husband might be complicated. Employed, James corrected. Past tense, potentially. We'll see what Monday's investigation reveals. The gala dissolved into chaos after that. Michael tried to follow me as I left, calling my name, making excuses, trying to explain how it wasn't what it looked like, how I was taking things out of context, how he'd always loved me. I got into a cab and went back to Jasmine's apartment. Because going back to our penthouse, to the beautiful prison where I'd been locked away for 3 years, felt impossible. Holy shit, Jasmine said when I walked in, still in my gown, makeup smudged from crying. It's all over social media. You're trending. She showed me her phone. Videos from multiple angles. Photos of the confrontation. Hashtags. Hashtag Simone Sterling. Hashtag Hidden Wife. Hashtag Michael Sterling Exposed. Hashtag Black Lives Matter Not. The comments were overwhelming. She's gorgeous and accomplished and he HID her? What a coward. The way his mother called her your type, racism barely disguised. 3 years? This woman sat at home for 3 years while he pretended to be single? I know who Simone Clark is. She's an amazing architect. He should have been proud. But also, she shouldn't have made a scene at his work event. This is humiliating for both of them. Private matters should stay private. Maybe there's more to the story. We're only hearing her side. Don't read those. Jasmine pulled the phone away. Focus on what matters. You told the truth. You stood up for yourself. You stopped being invisible. I destroyed his career. He destroyed his career by lying. You just exposed it. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Michael. His mother. Unknown numbers that were probably press. I turned it off. What do I do now? Now. Jasmine pulled me into a hug. Now you remember who you were before you let him make you small. Now you rebuild. Now you take back your life. I stayed at Jasmine's for 3 days, ignoring calls, dodging press, trying to figure out my next move. On day 4, my lawyer called with news. Michael wanted to meet. To talk. To explain. Do you want to see him? The lawyer asked. No, but I probably should. We met at a coffee shop in neutral territory, not our apartment, not his office, somewhere public where he couldn't control the narrative. He looked terrible. Hadn't shaved. Dark circles under his eyes. Hair disheveled. Simone. He reached for my hand. I pulled back. Talk. I'm so sorry. I've been the worst husband. The worst person. I let fear dictate my actions, and I hurt you in ways that are unforgivable. Yes, you did. I was afraid. He stopped. No, that's an excuse. The truth is, I was a coward. My mother raised me to believe that image was everything. That the Sterling name meant something that had to be protected. That marrying you was a mistake I should correct. Why did you marry me if you felt that way? Because I loved you. I loved you so much it terrified me. You were everything I'd been taught not to want. Bold, confident, unapologetically yourself. You were real in a way no one in my world was. And when I was with you, I felt real too. But not real enough to show the world. No, because I was weak. Because I let my mother convince me that loving you publicly would cost me. My career, my family's approval, my standing in society. And I believed her. I chose comfort over courage. I chose image over you. You told people you were divorced. I know. He covered his face. I don't even know how it started. Someone at work assumed I was single, and I didn't correct them. Then it became easier to let people believe that than to explain why my wife never attended events. Then it became the story, and I became the lie. Yes. He looked at me. I became a lie, and I made our marriage a lie. And I made you invisible because I was too cowardly to be seen with you. Why? What were you so afraid of? Judgment. My mother's disappointment. Colleagues questioning whether I was serious about my career if I married someone who didn't fit the expected mold. Losing the approval of people I've spent my life trying to impress. He took a breath. I was afraid that loving you openly would diminish me. And that fear made me diminish you instead. Your mother called me my type. Like I was something shameful. I know. And I should have defended you. I should have told her that you're the best thing that ever happened to me. That I was lucky you'd married me. That she was the problem, not you. But I didn't. I let her racism poison our marriage. I let her convince me that hiding you was protecting you, when really I was protecting myself. From what? From having to choose. Between my family and you. Between my comfortable life and real love. Between who I was raised to be and who I wanted to become. He was crying now. And I chose wrong. I kept choosing wrong. Until you forced me to face what I'd done. I sat back, studying the man I'd married. The man I'd loved. The man who'd broken me by making me feel unworthy of being seen. James Morrison offered me a contract. For the new headquarters design. I heard. You should take it. Even though you work there? Work there. I resigned. This morning. Before they could fire me. He managed a bitter smile. Seemed like the honorable thing to do, finally. What will you do? I don't know. Figure out who I am when I'm not hiding behind a reputation and a family name and a career built on appearances. He looked at me. What will you do? Take the contract. Build the building. Prove that I never needed you to be successful. I know you didn't. That was never in question. It was for me. You made me question everything about myself. My worth. My beauty. My right to exist in your world. I stood. I'm filing for divorce, Michael. He nodded, like he'd expected it. I understand. I'm taking back my business name. Simone Clark, not Sterling. Of course. And I'm never making myself small for a man again. You shouldn't. You were never meant to be small. I started to leave, then turned back. For what it's worth, I loved you too. The real you, not the image. But that person got buried under so many lies and fears that I don't know if he even exists anymore. He doesn't, Michael said quietly. But maybe I can find him again. Become someone worthy of the woman I let walk away. Do it for yourself. Not for me. I left him there, sitting alone in the coffee shop, finally visible in his failure. The divorce took 6 months. Michael didn't fight it. Gave me everything I asked for, which wasn't much. I didn't want his money or his apartment or anything that reminded me of being hidden. I wanted my freedom, my name, my life back. The headquarters design made me famous, not Sterling adjacent famous, but Simone Clark famous. Architectural Digest featured it. The project won awards. I was invited to speak at conferences, lecture at universities, mentor young architects who looked like me. I became visible, undeniably, unapologetically visible. And I thrived. A year after the gala, I attended an architecture conference where I was the keynote speaker. My topic, Designing from the Margins, Why Diverse Voices Build Better Spaces. The audience was packed. And in the third row, I saw Michael. He looked different, less polished, more real. He'd grown a beard, his hair was longer, his suit was off the rack instead of custom-tailored. He looked like someone who'd stopped performing. After my speech, he approached cautiously. That was incredible. Truly. Thank you. I'm proud of you. I should have said that 3 years ago. Should have said it every day. But I'm saying it now. I don't need your pride anymore, Michael. I have my own. I know. I can see it. He paused. I've been doing the work. Therapy. A lot of therapy. Confronting the racism I inherited and internalized. Understanding how I weaponized my fear against you. Good. That's good. I'm not telling you this to get you back. I know that ship has sailed. I'm telling you because you deserve to know that what you did at that gala, exposing my cowardice, it changed me. Broke me down so I could build myself back better. I didn't do it to change you. I did it to save myself. I know. But thank you anyway. For being brave enough to be seen. Even when I was trying to keep you hidden. I studied him. This man who'd been my husband, who'd hurt me deeply, who'd made me feel unworthy of love. I forgive you, I said, surprising myself. Not because you've earned it, but because carrying anger was making me heavy, and I'm done being weighed down by your mistakes. Thank you. He looked like he might cry. For what it's worth, you were always enough. More than enough. I was just too blind and scared to see it. I know that now. Took a while to remember it, but I know. I hope whoever loves you next, and someone will, because you're extraordinary. I hope they have the courage I lacked. To love you loudly, publicly, proudly. They will, because I won't accept anything less. He smiled, sad but genuine. Good. You deserve loud love. The kind that celebrates you. The kind that makes you more visible, not less. I do. We all do. He left after that, disappearing into the crowd. And I felt lighter, not because I'd forgiven him, but because I'd released him. His shame was his to carry, not mine. Epilogue, 2 years later. I was at an exhibition opening for emerging architects, a program I'd founded to support Black and brown designers, when I met him. Marcus Chun, a structural engineer. Brilliant, funny kind. And when he asked me to dinner, he didn't suggest somewhere quiet or private. He took me to the hottest restaurant in Manhattan. Introduced me to everyone we met. Posted a photo of us together on his Instagram with the caption, "Honored to be on a date with the brilliant Simone Clark." Architecture's loss would have been engineering's gain, but luckily, she chose her true calling. He made me visible from day one. 6 months later, he brought me to his company's holiday party, introduced me to everyone, bragged about my work, held my hand the entire night. Is this weird for you? He asked. Being at a corporate party after everything? The opposite. This is how it should have been all along. I can't imagine not wanting to show you off. You're extraordinary. I agreed. But it's nice to be with someone who sees that. A year after that, when he proposed, it was at a gallery opening for one of my projects. In front of everyone. Public. Proud. Loud. I want the whole world to know I'm marrying Simone Clark, he announced. The most talented architect I know. The most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And the person who makes me want to be better every single day. I said yes. Not because I needed him to complete me, but because he enhanced what was already complete. Because he never made me small. Never made me hidden. Never made me ashamed. He loved me loudly. And I, finally, fully, unapologetically, loved myself the same way. Visible. Undeniable. Enough. More than enough. Everything. Simone stayed hidden for 3 years before finally showing up and exposing her husband's lies. Should she have left sooner? Or was the public confrontation necessary for her healing? And most importantly, have you ever made yourself smaller for someone's comfort? What finally made you stop? Share your story below. Your voice deserves to be heard.